Welcome one and all to another movie review. Yes, I know, another movie review. Well, today I will be reviewing the Netflix original movie, Stepsisters. Stepsisters is a 2018 dance comedy film directed by Charles Stone III and written by Chuck Haywood. It follows a black sorority girl who agrees to teach the art of Greek stepping to a house of party-obsessed white sorority sisters. This movie is if sorority boys and the house bunny had a baby and they tried to teach that baby to step. That's gonna be one awkward baby. I was not impressed by the concept of this movie in the least, and having now watched it, those feelings were only solidified. I am a huge fan of Stomp the Yard. I loved how it addressed stepping culture. The choreography was phenomenal, as was the soundtrack, and on top of it, there is a genuine story going on that deals with both sides of the socio-economic aspect of what it means to be African American, especially when it comes to college education. This movie is if you took Stomp the Yard, made it an all-female cast, and took away all the heart and soul and tried to make it comedic. It's a failure. Also, this movie references Stomp the Yard, and I wasn't impressed with how they did it. Going in, I was annoyed they would take something that has been done and just switch the gender. I feel women in the industry should not be trying to replicate what men have done to prove they are better. They should be coming up with their own original ideas. And I know there are a great deal out there. It's just sad this is what is being picked up. And I know that this was written by men, but that's not the point. I will say this movie is redeemable. The second half really saves it because the first half was like watching a train wreck and it just kept going and there appeared to be no end in sight, but thank goodness there was. I feel this movie does less to address step culture and just spend its time stereotyping races, trying to be funny and failing. It stereotypes college life. It says white women in college are only focused on partying and being slutty and pretty because being white they don't have to try as hard and have no sense of sisterhood. Then it stereotypes black women by making them all appear bitchy and just having a natural born hatred for white people and obsessing over their edges. Women have enough crap to deal with without having to watch something that pits women against each other and then blames race. The first half of the movie is filled with cringe-worthy dialogue that is not remotely comedic. The stepping choreography during this part of the movie isn't all that impressive, and that goes for the performances as well. During this time, the movie lacks any substance or soul, with the worst thing about it being our main character's boyfriend, who portrays himself as a downtrodden black man trapped in the body of a really annoying white guy. He's like that one super liberal friend that you can't take to a party because they get super politically correct about everything and ruin everyone's fun. That's who he is. Not to mention, watching a white guy try to school a black woman on the plight of her race was unbearable. But as I said, the second half saves it. During the second half, our lead dumps her black wannabe boyfriend and the entire movie shifts in tone. It dials way back on the comedy, or what it thought was comedy, and starts addressing the true meaning of sisterhood and without making it about black versus white. It starts to talk about the whole point of a sorority. It talks about why stepping was created and why it shouldn't be exclusive. Even the stepping choreography really amps up and was actually quite impressive. There are even a few good moments of dialogue. I especially loved our lead Jamila, played by, and I hope I pronounce this right, Megalyn Echikunwoke, who says races can't own things. That was a redeeming piece of dialogue if ever I heard one. The movie even stopped stereotyping its characters long enough to address racism within the black community, with our lead character and an additional character discussing how they didn't feel welcomed within their own community due to acting too white. I wish the entire movie had been like this because then it would have been great. Instead, it spent so much of its time being a ghastly comedy race war. There was some heart, some substance, but it took us a while to find it. I also had some issues with the stepping. Now, as I mentioned, the choreography by the second half greatly improved, but I didn't understand why we never really get to see our lead wow us by stepping. We briefly see it at the beginning and a snippet at the end, but that's it. If she was good enough to coach these women, then we should have seen her do more instead of just standing around telling them how good or bad they were doing. In addition, I felt the use of music during the performances was overdone. The beauty of stepping is the stepping itself is the dance and the music. For reference, in Stomp the Yard, while music did play during some performances, most stepping was done without music behind it, which really made it stand out. Whereas in this movie, there was one too many times where the stepping was backed by music, which takes away the beauty and point of stepping. I wouldn't call the performances terrible, they were what they were. I certainly wish the movie had abstained from the use of speech bubbles and social media hashtags displayed on the screen. It's becoming too common in these types of movies and it needs to stop. The soundtrack, not impressive, I don't even remember it. While this movie is still a complete letdown, if you can withstand the painful train wreck that is the first half, you'll actually find a somewhat decent movie that is enjoyable to watch on the other side. It just depends on if you're willing to stick it out or not. Thank you so much for watching. If you've seen Stepsisters, then be sure to comment down below and let me know your thoughts on this movie. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Or are you indifferent? I would love to know. Until next time, bye.